So something interesting that I found in this play was Shakespeare's use of four characters, two of the same name and the other two with the same name, except for the places they were from. So Antipholus of Syracuse and Antipholus of Ephesus, and same for Dromios. I think that that really added to the play and the confusion, and that was Shakespeare's point. So I'm going to focus a lot on that throughout this video. Um, Question two for the values represented. One of the values is definitely death. Even though it's a comedy play, the death is always held over because Aegeon is getting threatened to be killed at 5 p.m. if he can't find his ransom. So that's always there during the play. And the negative value of the gold chain, the negative possession. So it was promised to many people like Angelo and Antipholus of Ephesus, and they were both arrested because they were promised the chain, but they never received it. So that's a negative aspect, and it's also its value is enough to pay for Aegeon's ransom. So I think that that is a huge part. So the gold chain holds a great value in this play. For question three, um, towards the end, when Lucinia was confusing both of the Antipholuses for her husband, I had to read over that quite a bit, so I just circled it and I went and did some research and just straightened that up. And I think that it added to the play because that's one of the most important parts. Um, and it kind of pieces everything together at the end. So, question four, women are basically seen as an accessory to men in this play. Husbands are the masters and teachers of the women, and the wives are basically a status determination for the men. So in Act 2, Scene 1, Adriana talks about being a feminist and how women should be free and everything, but then when her husband returns home, she just takes a 360 and basically has that anti feminist view where they need to basically bow down to their husbands. And Lucinia believes that the women's role is to stay in the house and act feminine and play that feminine role while the men are going to be masculine and the all powerful. So I think this play is very sexist against women, just in that sense, but in that time, that's kind of how women were viewed. So for question five, if men were being dressed as women, I think it would add a lot of comedy to the play. And the audience would probably be more involved because it'd be even more funny than what it already is. And my two questions are, why do you think Antipholus and Dromio decide to go with the women in decide to go with the women in Act 2, Scene 2, and that's Antipholus and Dromio of Syracuse. And my second question is, why do you think Shakespeare decided to have Egon and Amelia separate the two sets of identical twins, and why don't you think he just kept the biological twins together?